Okay, let's get this sucker on here. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we are doing a Q&A, and also at the same time, I'm gonna be working on some of my chain bookmarks because I need to restock. And as busy as I am, multitasking is usually the way to go. So I went on Instagram and I asked you guys for questions. Like if you had any questions for me. It's been a minute since I've done a Q&A, and I like to just do these occasionally. So in no particular order, we'll just go ahead and start answering questions. Okay, the first question, what do you see the ultimate vision for your awesome company? Well, that's very nice. So my ultimate dream for my company, for those of you guys who just don't know, if you're new here, I am a children's book author and illustrator. Ultimately, what my huge goal is, and what I would like to see happen within the next 5 years, is I want to really branch out my publishing company. So I'm wanting to create kind of a whole separate publishing house, like an actual separate publishing house under the Lavender Book Company. So it'd be like Lavender Book Publishing. And because as of right now, everything's kind of working under the same thing. And so what I'd like to do is create actually a whole separate conglomerate under the Lavender Book Company umbrella. And what I'd like to do is hire different authors and illustrators to come on as kind of like just 1099s, contractors, and we just create books. That's what I would love to do. What I've been kind of doing in the meantime is, as I've been on social media, I have been taking notes of certain illustrators and whatnot that I would like to bring on. So these would be people who work in physical art, for one. That's just going to be like a requirement, just because that's what I'm trying to do with my children's books. It's not a knock to digital artists by any means. Okay, I've seen some crazy good digital art, but it's just not my vision for my company and not wanting what I'm wanting to do. So as I've been finding people online, making a lot of mental notes. Well, the next question was, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I kind of just answered that question. So that was kind of a twofer. So the next one that I'll answer is, what's the craziest deep dive that I've done so far? Honestly, the one that I really can't get out of my head is the Enid Blyton one. That one was like really bizarre, and it just kept taking turns. It was like between like the naked tennis and just really weird story. But honestly, a lot of them I've been really surprised at. So many of these books that we have today and we enjoy on our shelves, we just had no idea. I just don't think we appreciate like all the things that went into it, like all the headaches, like even the Giving Tree. Like I didn't realize that the Giving Tree had some controversy to it. I just didn't realize that like Roald Dahl was kind of the dark force that he was. I say that as if he was like possessed. I mean, he was definitely not possessed, but and Margaret Wise Brown, that one was really that one was really interesting too. So honestly, there's been a lot of really good ones, but there's been also a lot of really good like inspirational ones as well, which I've really appreciated. I've really enjoyed that part of it too. I've just enjoyed kind of having both sides of it. Obviously, it's fun to have like all the drama and all that kind of stuff, but it has been really fun also seeing the really inspirational stories too. Okay, what do I like to do while I illustrate? So any favorite music or shows? I do, so it really kind of just depends on my mood. And there's times where I'll watch a show, I just grabbed the wrong things. Hold on. Yeah, so there's times where I feel like I am in the mood to watch a show, and then there's other times where I just want to listen to music. I'm not a huge podcast person. Like I don't search up podcasts on their own, but I do listen to shows as if they were a podcast, if that makes sense. So some of my favorite shows that I do watch, one, I love true crime. I also watch a lot of like body cam videos, which I think is kind of surprising for some people, but it's so fascinating. It's so intriguing. It's always in La Crosse, Wisconsin too. I think it has to do with like their laws with like getting the camera footage and stuff, but it's so interesting. Just so many things there. Gosh, I forgot how many components like this one bookmark needs. But honestly, it really just depends on my mood, because I also watch shows like Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer. I think that one is so fascinating. And honestly, it's like totally changed my perspective on money and just that whole thing, I would really suggest that show to just anybody. I mean, I don't always necessarily agree with his delivery on things, but again, in the end, it's a show. I get they're trying to like entertain people and stuff like that. So, but I also have started watching Gilmore Girls again, because to me, that show just like screams fall. I just absolutely love that show. It just brings me coziness. And I love rewatching shows because it's kind of nice how you can kind of just tune stuff out, but then you're not missing anything because you've already seen the show like umpteen times. There's a handful of shows that I'm like that with, and I would say Gilmore Girls, I Love Lucy, The Office, and Friends. Those would probably be the ones that are like my most favorite. They're like my comfort ones. I just absolutely love those shows. But then also for music, if I'm kind of in the mood to listen to some music, then I will listen to Sleep Token. Sleep Token's probably my favorite. But honestly, I have like a wide range of music tastes. I'm just gonna pause for a second and look how cute. Honestly, I have such a wide taste when it comes to music. So I'm either listening to like Sleep Token or I'm listening to like classical music. But I also love like old jazz music too. Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, you know, people like that. I love like older jazz. I've been really getting into that recently. Yeah, so I'm either blasting the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack or I'm listening to Sleep Token. Someone asked about what's going on with my back. So I really haven't shared too much about this. I think I've shared it maybe like on 1 or 2 Instagram stories. I'm actually going tomorrow to get an MRI done on my back because it all started with so I've had 3 kids, 3 C-sections. After my second C-section, I was starting to have issues with my back because when the guy was doing my spinal, he had a really hard time getting it in. And even to the point where my husband was like, you all right? Like, you okay back there? Everything good? And I just had issues with it ever since. Now, over the years, it was like 4 years because that's the age gap between my second and third. So over the years, I really got into weightlifting, stretching. It managed to kind of keep everything under control, but I was never really in pain. Like that's kind of where like the change happened, was when I got my most recent one done. I told the anesthesiologist ahead of time what had happened the second time, because for me, this was like going to be the biggest mental hurdle, was this spinal. Once I got through the spinal, I've already recovered from 2 C-sections. I already know all that. I wasn't worried about any of that portion of it. It was the spinal, and he had a really hard time. He had to attempt it 3 separate times, and he told me, like on the last attempt, before he did the last attempt, he was like, if I can't get this, we're gonna have to put you under general anesthesia, which obviously I didn't want that. So thankfully he was able to get it, but I think just when he was kind of working in there, he just aggravated a whole bunch of nerves. And so my back has been in a lot of pain since having my daughter about 6 months ago. And so that's when I'm like, all right, we probably should go get it checked out just to make sure I'm not doing any more damage on my back, because I have been doing my weightlifting and everything since I've been getting cleared. So, and the doctor said, like, in the meantime, like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, it's good for you and your back to like strengthen everything back up again, like your core and your back. So just keep doing it. Just don't make it mad. And so that's what I've been doing. So tomorrow I'm going for my MRI to make sure there's nothing like severely wrong. It's bringing up a lot of stuff from like my high school era, but that's like a whole nother story. And I don't know if people are interested in that. So, but I am worried too, because I do get kind of claustrophobic. So I asked the lady if I could bring my eye mask tomorrow, and she said, yes, absolutely, as long as there's no metal on it. I feel like if I can't see it, then that'll take away a big portion of the problem. Ooh, my must-have art supplies. Ooh, I love talking about this stuff. So when it comes to doing my actual art and illustrations, having a really good sharpener is one thing that I would say. If you work with colored pencil, I've had certain sharpeners. Like when I was visiting my parents, I forgot my sharpener and I had to use my mom's, and it like ate some of my pencils, and I was so irritated. So I absolutely love the one that I have. It's like a really small one. This is the one that I use here. It's battery operated, but you can switch it to manual if you need, which I've had to do. And so you can use it either way. I absolutely love it. I love the way it sharpens them, gets them nice and sharp. And I would say a good kneaded eraser, because I've tried some not so good ones and hate them. So I would definitely say that. I would say good colored pencils too, because I have tried a whole range of stuff. When I was making my first book, The Adventure of Theodore James, I knew I wanted it to be in colored pencil, but I was like, ooh, do I really want to kind of fork out the money for Prismacolor or like a nicer brand? So at first I ordered some off of Amazon. It was just not what I needed for what I was using it for. If you're one where like you need them just for like coloring in a coloring book or just for fun stuff, then I would definitely say just go the more like affordable route. But if you're using them for something like professional, then I would definitely say spend the money. And the reason I love Prismacolor so much, which I wish they would reach out to me, I wish we could, buddy up. Maybe I'll keep bugging them. The reason I love Prismacolor so much is because I feel like they're a great kind of middle of the road option for people. They're not like super uber expensive like the Faber-Castell, I think that's how you pronounce it, which I have like a handful of those. But I just love the Prismacolor because I feel like they're a really good introduction to the nicer quality things without being just like crazy out of the world expensive for people. That's why I would love to work with them. I love their stuff and I feel like they're really accessible to a lot of people. Plus I use them myself and love them. Also, I love all the gouache that I've been getting. So there's 2 different brands that I've been using because they almost give a slightly different finish. So the Winsor & Newton brand I've been using, I absolutely love them, which I would love to work with Winsor & Newton as well. Those are like my top 2 brands that I would work with. I would love to work with them. I used Winsor & Newton watercolors for my second children's book and I adore them. So I use the Winsor & Newton gouache, but then I'm also using Holbein too. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. That one almost gives a slightly different finish and like texture than the Winsor & Newton. So now gouache is kind of pricey and I've just kind of learned with my other things, like especially when it comes to my children's books, I just spend the money on the nicer items because it just gives me more of the quality that I'm wanting in my children's books. So I think they're very much worth it if you're using them for a professional reason or if you just really want to invest in your hobby and you want something nice. Okay, I have a few more minutes. I can answer a couple more questions. I have to get my son from preschool. We have a doctor's appointment for my baby. So this will be kind of interesting. My current read, I actually have my Kindle right here. So it's The City of Mirth and Malice by Alexis Menard. This is the second book in her series. I read the first book of, I was just going to say the wrong title. I'm having a brain fart. I'm going to have it up here. I can't think of the word. Then after this, I want to read, I think it's called Manacled. I want to read that one. But then also like on my very short TBR list is, I think it's Cave Dweller Carl. I think that's how it's pronounced. I just really want to read it because people have said really good things about it, but also it just seems like a really fun read, which I think would be really nice. Those are my very short TBRs. Okay, advice for any new self-published authors. I would probably say my biggest advice is just know going in that you don't know everything and that you should take advice from people who know more than you in that subject. I've really tried to do that with really any aspect of my business. When it comes to things that I don't know, I go on the internet and I search for people who are like experts in what they're talking about and I learn from them. And there's things that I feel super comfortable in that I like to talk about. Like there's a reason why I only offer coaching for the things that I do, because those are the things that I feel the most confident in. I'm not out here trying to, give seminars on how to build a multi-million-dollar business. 1, because I haven't done that yet. But 2, I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to that, because I'm still learning in that part. The things that I do coach in, I do talk about, I feel the most confident in. And so I would just say, reach out to people and try to get advice from people who can really help you out and give you a lot of advice. Also, I would just say, it's a huge uphill battle, but it's very worth it in the end. Unfortunately, I think the book industry has just become like a whole nother beast within itself. I don't know, like I never want to like fully rule something out. I know not to talk in like absolutes. I'm not saying I would never, ever, ever take a publishing deal. For me, I just love the creative freedom that I have. And yes, I do know it's definitely a lot harder to do it this way. I don't want to be treated like an influencer from a publishing house because I'm not one. And I feel like that's how a lot of publishing houses are nowadays. And I think it's kind of annoying. I think it ruins kind of the whole reason we have writers and, you know, making books and the whole thing. Okay, so that is all the time we have for today. If you have any other little questions for me down below, definitely leave them down below. I'm more than happy to answer just pretty much anything. And next week there will be a deep dive. So for those of you guys who really love the deep dives, don't fret, they are coming. They will be here next week. So I was able to make 4 bookmarks while we were chatting. I think that's so cute. I absolutely love this one and this lemon blossom one. I love it. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and like. I would really appreciate it. It appeases the algorithm gods when you interact and when you like and things like that. So thank you so much. Let me know what other questions you have for me down below. And I will see you guys in the next one, which is definitely going to be a deep dive. I know some of you guys really enjoy the deep dives, so do not fret. The next 2 videos will be deep dives. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.